Alright guys, we're gonna see if the camera will last long enough. It's actually the iPhone. But it's been a long time. I haven't made a video in a long time. I'm not doing any editing for this first video. Back, I'm just gonna shoot it straight from the iPhone. I'll get to the editing and all of that later. But it's been a long time. Introduced myself a long time ago. My name's Carl. I used to live in Oklahoma, Texas area, but we actually live in Birmingham, Alabama now. It's been a crazy month around the house. I have a 13-month-old that came down with hand, foot, and mouth disease. If you guys have ever dealt with that with the young ones, it's no good. They decided to give it to me, so I was out for a week, and then he was in the hospital this last weekend with some respiratory issues that we've went through before. Nothing major, nothing to be worried about. He just has to get to the hospital. So it's been crazy around here. I told Memphis Vinyl Jim, he's one of the channels I really keep up with. I've been watching for 4 or 5 years now. I only made videos for a couple short months, but I'm gonna jump back into it. You guys show way too much good stuff and get me excited about different records. I might as well share the same with everybody else. But so Memphis Vinyl Jim, I'm still gonna do your video. I'm pulling a couple royals. I got one more coming in the mail, and then we'll make that Show Me the Royals contest video. But I got a lot to make up for. I got 2 4x4s that I've never showed. Some pretty cool stuff in there. And then your more normal, what everybody has, what everybody loves kind of stuff. But what I'm gonna do just for this intro video, what I was gonna do, I was gonna talk about the 5 kind of music or genres of music or styles or periods of music I love. I'm just gonna let you guys figure out what I love through my video, through my collection. I'm gonna do some record polls, some shelf polls, kind of do A, B, C video. I just kind of do it like that. I'm kind of going. I used to have my records broken up by genre and then alphabetized and then chronicle, but I'm just gonna do alphabetize everything. So I'm in the middle of all that right now, and you'll see I try to sleeve all of my records when they get in the house. I do own a record booth in the antique mall, not because I make a ton of money off of it, because I need the storage so I can keep the wife happy. So I do just kind of my general thing is I get them in, I clean them, I put a sticker on there in case times ever get hard and I need to throw some of my love things in the record booth. Hopefully it never comes to that, but I have it ready to go if I ever need to. So I kind of tag them, and in case I'm ever strapped for cash, I gotta take my precious ones to the record booth. But so I'm just gonna show you my recent finds. These are probably last week maybe, and there's some other ones that aren't in here, but I'm just gonna go through them real quick and show them, maybe talk a little bit about them. This first guy is one of my favorites. I'm gonna bet Memphis Vinyl Jim has me down the soul cellar a little bit more than normal. So I've been listening to a lot of it. This is kind of a late period in his career. This is Mr. Al Green. And this is his Bell record, the Bell album. This is later. This is actually recorded in '76, but was released in '77. This is kind of right before he did the more gospel stuff. But this is kind of interesting. Kind of took a little bit more control of his music on this record. Actually played lead guitar and just had a little bit bigger of a hand in what he was doing. It's on a High Records, which most of you guys, this is actually on the turntable right now, so I don't have the record. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever made it this far in Al Green's discography, but I'm going to tell you the song Georgia Boy is quickly becoming a top 5 Al Green song for me. So look that up. Take a look at that. That's a hit. I work with collegiate basketball players for my living, and they always tell me a song's a banger. Well, Georgia Boy, that's a banger in their words. So the next one, this is kind of interesting album. I've never seen this actually. This is actually Mike Vernon. And he is actually kind of, you'll know the name. He is actually the guy that started Blue Horizon Records. But he is a producer. He produced Bowie, the Blues Breakers, quite a bit of late 60s, early 70s blues rock, a little bit of psych rock. But this is actually one of his solo records, and it's not totally solo. As this lady, and I don't know if she's the wife. I haven't really dug into it. I haven't listened to this yet. Great shape. It's on Sire. I'm not gonna pull it all the way out. Normal Sire label. Listened to it a little bit online. Kind of, and you know, I think Discogs even says it's a funk, blues rock, R&B, country record. I don't know. It's a really interesting mix. And when I saw that on Discogs, I'm taking it home. Now you're kind of getting what I love. This is Albert King live. Anything Albert King does, I'm a fan of. Lovejoy is probably one of my favorite blues records that I own or I've ever listened to. But this is, I don't even remember when they put this out. 78. So this has just kind of his hits, Watermelon Man. That's what the blues is all about. Stormy Monday. Just a great live record, and as you come to know my collection a little bit more, I'm not the biggest fan of live records. Really, blues live records is the ones I listen to. But that's a great one. Cheers, VC. Since I came down with the hand, foot, and mouth, I realized how good milk was. That's all I drank or ate for about a week. So I'm back addicted to milk for some reason. This is a really interesting compilation. Original Golden Hits of the Great Blues Singers, Volume 3. Put out on Mercury. I think it's Rainbow. Let me see if I'm right tonight. I'm not. Not even close. We'll go the red Mercury label. Pretty good shape. I bought it pretty cheap. I think I bought it for about $5. Great collection of hits and artists. Some stuff that is extremely hard to find. 45. So this has, let's just go down it. Bo Diddley doing Bo Diddley. John Lee Hooker doing Tupelo, Mississippi, which is one of my favorites of his. Chuck Jackson, I Don't Want to Cry. Lightning Hopkins, Lightning's Boogie. Raymond Lewis, I'm going to Put Some Hurt on You. Chris Creamer, which is a good, I Like It Like That. It's a great song. Bobby Bland, Yield Not to Temptation. Muddy Waters, got my mojo working, which is obviously a jam. I was really excited about this next one. Bunker Hill, Hide and Go Seek. I don't know whoever's listened to that song. This is actually part 2. I wish it was part 1 of the song, but this is actually part 2. A lot of people kind of joke around and say that's the first hip hop song ever created. I'm excited. And early young Bobby Charles, See You Later, Alligator, which I'm a huge Bobby Charles fan. Ted Taylor, Be Ever Wonderful, and James Booker, Gonzo. Just really interesting collection of hard to find 45s. I would say I'm not a huge live record fan or a compilation. I just showed you back to back. But when they come around like that, I'll grab them. I gotta hurry up. This is really interesting. This is an 84 repress of the Super Super Blues Band. I don't know who's ever listened to this. This is just a great live copy of this. I showed you the price. It's not for sale. Yet. This is on the Chess Records. This is really, really interesting. Just kind of a jam session with those guys. Alan Wolf, Muddy Waters, and Bo Diddley. It doesn't get any better. There's an interesting part where Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters are kind of giving Bo Diddley a hard time, and they say, Bo Diddley, you can't play no blues. You're only a teenager. You can't play or sing no blues. And it's just interesting to see the relationship and kind of the dynamic in between those guys. This record, I can tell you very little about. I listened to it online while I was at work the other day. I'm excited to give it a listen. But the cover sold me, I'm going to be honest. Southwind. If anyone knows a lot about this record, thumbs up or thumbs down, let me know. I do not know a ton about it. It's on Venture Records, which you don't see a ton of. You can see that. Lighting's not the best. It's, from what I read and kind of what I listen to, pop psych. I think it came out in '68. Could be wrong about that. I don't know why this one snuck in there. That's not a recent buy. It's The Hunter by Ike and Tina Turner, but that's not a recent buy. I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna give this guy a listen. only because I love the Vanguard label. I've seen some other interesting things, but this is the Essential Jimmy Rushings, another compilation. So I'm failing at what I say I really love to collect. But I found this really cheap, and I figured if I'm ever going to become a huge Jimmy Rushing fan, I could start there. So I'm going to give that a listen. See if I dig deeper. This is a really exciting find for me. I've read a little bit about this record. Psych record, The Loading Zone on RC Victor. I believe this is 68. Let me see. It is not, but I heard on YouTube is the first time I ever heard this, and I heard the song God Bless the Child, and I listened a little bit more, and Love Feels Like Fire are the two songs that I just really enjoy from this record. I've never been able to find it till now. It's on the RC Victor. Really excited. I spun that when I got home from the record store that night. Really good record. Really good record. Interesting thing right here. Anything on Stax, anything from Memphis I'm a fan of. This is The Warrior. Interesting record. An Afro beat tribal record. Listened again a little bit online. With being in the hospital and things with the son, I haven't been able to spin all these. This is one of my favorite San Francisco bands. Pacific Gas and Electric. This is Are You Ready? I love the artwork on this one. I don't think they get enough talk. People talk about underrated bands in the VC that don't really get any attention. Here's my throw in that contest to that thread that I'm really late. 2i Columbia. I hear a lot about Pacific Gas and Electric on the VC. Hear a lot of other people that are closely related to them and same style of music. Never hear really these guys. I'm a fan. Maybe there's a reason I'm not a fan, or everyone else isn't a fan. If there is, let me know. I'll see if that changes my opinion. This one I was really excited. It's been in my cart and Discogs for months, but I found it at an antique store when I visited family in Arkansas. Sweat Hog. This is 72 country. I wouldn't even say blues rock. This is country rock, 100%. Country hardish rock. That's you know what it's supposed to be. On Columbia. Red and yellow. You see it every day. Really excited to see that record and pick that up. Not an expensive record, but not the easiest. So I drove through Memphis on the way. So Memphis is in between, for you guys that don't know, in between Birmingham and Arkansas. And I talked to Memphis Vinyl Jim about a couple of the record stores, and I had heard, I can't remember their channel name, that did the Memphis trip. I think it was 2 years ago, or even a year ago. So I wanted to kind of have, where should I go in town? Where should I go digging for a little bit? We decided we were going to stop in Memphis on the way there and the way back, give little man a little bit of time to wiggle around, and he loves to wiggle around in record stores. So that's a good thing for me. He's our youngest VC member. Well, I don't think he is our youngest VC anymore, but he's out there and he doesn't mind digging with me a little bit. I didn't really find anything. I went to Strang Law Records. I didn't really find anything I was super impressed with. There was a couple things that I really wanted. Rough condition. So I decided not to pull the trigger. So I actually bought 3 reissues, which is hard for me. But if they're records I'm never going to find, or I don't think I'm ever going to find them, I'm starting to pull the trigger a little bit more. One of them I don't have over here. It's the James Luther Dickerson Dixie Fried reissue. I picked that up because I wanted to pick up Memphis music. Then they had this, and it was on sale. This is a Memphis music. This is Alabama music. But I decided to pick it up. This is the Potluck. I don't know if you can see it. Spooner Oldham. Famous Muscle Shoals, Alabama musician. Played on about everything. Let's look at his melody. When a man loves a woman, I never loved a man the way I love you. Kentucky Grass, Cry Like a Baby, Respect, The New World, My Friend. On the second side, it does a profile kind of melody of the biggest hits of his career that he was a session musician for. But it kind of, they're a little bit different versions. Kind of more what he was thinking, how maybe it should be. Really interesting listen. And then he does a version of Will the Circle Be Unbroken. But the first side one is actually original songs by him. And there's a song on here, guys, The Lord Loves a Rolling Stone. It's unbelievable if you can listen to that online. Quickly becoming one of my favorites. This is a Light and Attic reissue. You can get it for pretty cheap. It's a great listen. Great listen. If you like that Muscle Shoals Southern sound. It's another guy I'm very fond of. I was lucky enough to find his first record, an original copy. I don't know if I'm going to strike gold twice, so I went ahead and picked up. They had this reissue, really well priced. This is Memphis music, so I wanted to pick it up. Sid Selvage. This has great songs. The Outlaw, Lazarus, Danny Boy, Miss the Mississippi and You. This is a great record. Absolutely fantastic. It's a masterpiece. I don't know if it's better than his record from '69. I think this one came out actually in '76. They did the reissue on Peabody. Well, they used the Peabody logo. There you go, a little blue. Colors don't really mean a whole lot to me. If it's colored vinyl, it's colored vinyl. Whatever. Whatever they want to do, as long as the music sounds good. And then my last Memphis one, but I picked this up in Alabama actually. Rufus Thomas, the king of the dance song, crown prince of dance. So this might make another appearance here shortly. Memphis Vinyl Gem. Memphis guy, famous for the dance songs called. This is also on Stax. Another reason why I picked it up. Pretty much every single one of these records that's on Stax I'd love to pick up. One of the best yellow labels in the world. But did a lot of did the Funky Chicken, kind of dance songs. They called him the world's oldest teenager. Just great around the house, fun music. I'm a fan of Rufus Thomas. Some people think it's a little corny, a little dance gimmick, but I love it to death. So that's kind of what I picked up in the last week. You kind of figure out where I am musically. I might surprise you a couple times, but I don't want to keep you guys any longer. It's already been 18 minutes. Thank you. I'll have more videos out there. I love talking to you guys. I love just chit-chatting, shooting back on Facebook Messenger, YouTube, things we found, things to be looking for. Obviously, this is a hobby that we all love. I'm not going to call it an addiction. I'm going to call it a hobby. So, all right, good night.